Lisa, thank you so much for being here today. I know you work with parents and children on helping them lose weight, and we do know that obesity for adults and children is such an important problem right now. But I think one of the main things that I find, even as an adult, is the motivation to want to lose weight. So how do you motivate your kids if it's even hard for us?
Well, one way to motivate your child is to give them foods that they'll enjoy. Another way is to get them involved, have them do it with you. Sit down and make goals and plans and let them know that you're there. You're not going to scold them, you know, if they don't succeed one week, but you're there for them. You're there to help them and to have a reward system.
Support, a support system.
And we have a lot of things on our website also. We have some weight charts and reward system ideas, and if they have something to work towards, they're going to succeed.
At least easier. One of the things you talk about, and it's on your website, is called customized meal plans. And this is just a colorful example of talking about the important food groups, and I think it would be something that would appeal to children, the bright colors, the tent, the circus type theme or something. How do you use this in working with the parents and the children?
Well, our program is based on balance. So you want the food from every food group. You don't want to cut out any particular food group or food type because your child's body is like an engine and it needs the right fuels. So you've got to give it balance.
So again, we want something from all of them. You talk about setting priorities. Does that mean X amount of pounds per week or X amount of pounds by the end of the summer? Or what do you mean by priorities?
Well, we recommend short-term goals and long-term goals. And what we mean by that is, you know, have the goal, know your child's ideal weight and make it a goal to get there, but make it a reasonable time frame because you're going to have your ups and downs. And also for the reward system, tell them for every, let's say, 5-pound increments. Every 5 pounds you lose, you can have a toy or a hat, something to help keep them motivated, because if they step on the scale and say, oh, I'm only half a pound away, they're going to be a little more careful and work harder at it so that they can reach their goal and their reward. And in the end, they feel great and they get something that they enjoy.
That's good. And one of the things I think that you talk about on the website is the difference between success and failure. And the first thing is that both the parents and the child must be engaged. It's not the parents say, okay, today you'll eat this. You let the children pick the foods they like, and then you work with them in incorporating those, don't you?
Yes, because if you give a child, let's say, grapefruit and eggs every day, they're not going to eat that.
That's boring.
Yeah, they're going to go to school and trade off their foods and get some good, bad foods. But no, if you work with what they like and find healthy substitutes for the unhealthy foods, like cookies, example, we like to give the kids 100-calorie packs. So if you work with what they like, give them foods that they'll enjoy eating, they're going to be more inclined to stick with it. It's going to be easier for them. One of the things that the parents tell us is they couldn't believe their kids thought it was easy. And they don't feel hungry. If they eat right, they're not going to be hungry, so they're not going to go and binge on bad food.
And I think if we have things in our house, in the pantry, in the refrigerator, on the kitchen cabinet, that are good choices, kids will pick those. Whereas if they have bad choices, maybe they'll pick those bad choices, and we don't want to make that too easy.
Well, I've had to tell parents, clean out your pantry, get rid of everything bad, replace your cookies with 100-calorie packs, replace your
candy bars.
Yes.
Potato chips.
And potato chips, there's some great, you know, the 100-calorie packs, the baked chips. There's other ways to have great food, but less calories.
One of the things, and I think you've experienced this with your own kids, is the importance of packing the lunch versus school lunches. And we're not putting down any school system or anything like that, but I think it's one of those things we need to be aware of what the kids are eating and what choices they have there. And if our child's really interested in making this a priority to lose weight, it's up to us then to furnish the right foods to take.
Yes. One example of a school lunch would be, you know, the corn dogs, and they get the fruit cups and the milk. They try really hard to make it healthy. They really do, but sometimes there's just more calories in there than what there should be. A typical school lunch is 800 to 1,000 calories, and that's just for one meal.
So, and there's still 2 other meals and snacks to go.
So you can replace
this is an example of a good one.
They've got their fruit, their vegetables, their starch, their meat, and then they get their dairy. You know, you don't have to have this much food every time, but this is something that the kids enjoy, and it's a lot less calories.
And we mentioned that this was just one meal, and you really believe, and I certainly do too, that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and so we don't want people kids or adults that are on a diet to think, oh, well, I'll skip breakfast, that'll save me about 500 calories. Breakfast is important for kids especially.
It is, because that's what gets them their metabolism going. They need the food for their brain, especially if they're going to go sit in a classroom and study. If they don't eat breakfast, they can't think, they can't concentrate, they can't focus. So breakfast is very important.
And let's talk about some good choices and the ones that sometimes we do splurge on. But how many calories did you say were in these little cinnamon roll things?
These two cinnamon honey buns have 380 calories for two, and they're packed with sugar. So that is not a good choice. Now, I know people are thinking, okay, waffles. Waffles, these are Special K waffles. I use these all the time.
Okay, you can have 99% fat-free and 60 calories. So we want to look at calories, fat, sugars, and carbs.
Yes, you do. So you would have two of these. But again, just like salads and every other thing, you got to watch where your calories come from. The waffles
you call it sneaky calories.
Yes, the waffles aren't what's going to get you. It's the syrup and the butters. We recommend that you use spray butter. It's 0 calories. It's great. It tastes like butter. But here's some examples of the syrups. This is a regular syrup right here. And 1/4 of a cup of the syrup has 210 calories.
Okay. And this one has 20.
And that one has 20. And it tastes just as good as this one.
Just that one small change right there.
Yes. So they can have what they like. Don't feel like you have to deprive them, because if they feel deprived, they're not going to succeed. But if you can say, okay, would you like waffles or cereal for breakfast?
Give them
choices. We like to give them variety. And a yogurt cut, always read the labels, but this is a brand we use. And it's only got 80 calories, and they get their dairy if they don't want milk. It's a great way to get dairy into their diet.
Now, what I hear a lot of times about people putting their kids on a diet, but is there ever too young of a child to put on a diet? Where do you typically start?
Well, you don't want to put a young child. We stick with about the age of 5. We have some that are 4 on our program. But being that we're more into telling parents and children how to eat healthy, we work with them on eating healthy instead of taking away a food group. There are diets out there that we don't recommend for any children. But we have them as young as 4. And
so mostly it's education. You're wanting to start out when they're very young and let them learn about making good choices too.
If they know how to make choices now, they can carry it on into their adulthood, and that's really what we're hoping to succeed.
Well, it sounds like it, and I encourage people to look at the website because there's lots of good ideas. You have a cookbook that's available, and I think the key to all of this is moderation and balance and choices and priorities. And as a grandparent, I thought the part you said in there about helping the grandparents or the aunts and uncles to know that when the child comes to their house, help them to stay on this regime of eating healthy.
Yes, they need the support from their family. The family's the one person or one group of people they need the support from the most, because they're going to have friends that might disagree. Meal planning is very important, because if you know what you're going to eat for the week, before the day gets there, if you plan it up, you don't know what you're going to have, you're going to whip something together that's not healthy. But if you plan it a week in advance, you have it to look at, you're going to have a better chance at succeeding, and your child can sit down and do it with you. And that is so important. Get the child involved.
They're learning.
They are. They're learning, and this is a great way to learn with the parents.
And I loved your idea about a reward system and using encouragement and support, not scolding and punishment. That doesn't help us to feel motivated to want to do anything.
No, but if you reward them and just tell them how great they're doing, encouragement's all a child needs. Just tell them, you've done a great job. If they didn't lose one week, just tell them it's okay. We've got next week.
We'll work hard next week.
Yeah, we can do it. It's okay. Just stick with your child. It'll work out.
That's great advice. Thank you very much, Lisa.
Well,
I enjoyed talking
Cheryl.
to you about it.
Well, thanks.